All right, guys, we are here for the first ever FIRE podcast, Fathers in Real Estate. We are joined today by Ty Brown out of Michigan. He is a team leader and broker, associate broker up in Michigan. He is on the team with his wife, Impact Agents Community. They have two local agents in the Michigan area and over 30 agents in their organization through EXP. And he is a father of three. He is outnumbered greatly in his house, all females. But he's been in real estate for 4 years now. Prior to this, he was in the supply chain planner, production scheduler. So, Ty, kind of tell us a little bit about kind of how you got to where you are in real estate. And thank you for taking your time today to jump on here with us.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Number one, this is awesome, man. So like you had mentioned, me and my wife, Coti Brown, we have a real estate team here in Michigan. Obviously, we're with EXP. So she was licensed mid 2018, and I got licensed the end of 18. We were kind of midst of careers. You mentioned I was in supply chain. I kind of moved around. So, anyways, we had started a big box about 2018, and we ended up moving to our own brokerage 2019. That wasn't working out. And in 2020, we actually moved to EXP. So this is where we kind of flourished, kind of started to get our own agents. Obviously, you know that we're part of a community. We got 30 plus agents. We have 200 media teams. So we've just been kind of working that ever since 2020. So I was going to say with 18, 19, 20, we had different brokerages, but now we're here for a long time. So it's a pretty cool thing. So I mean, it's been a long journey. We take some ins and outs, sideways, upside down, but we're pretty happy where we're at. So like I said, volume wise, me and the wife have done at least over 10 million a year. Now she's more of the sales, I'm more of the back office operations manager type. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Right. Awesome. So y'all have it split up. You kind of do behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah.
So how did you make that jump from the supply chain world to real estate?
Yeah, so let's see, I graduated college in 2003, and I was right. I got thrown in the mix, man, in automotive in Michigan in I'd say mid 2003, and I was there. Let's see, all the way to 18. I was in some kind of a agricultural, chemical. Let's see, I worked at Caterpillar, I worked at Dow Chemical, worked at automotive suppliers for General Motors, things like that. So basically, what happened was we ended up taking my job took us down to Atlanta, South Atlanta for a job at Caterpillar, and it was going great. We were there 4 years, and just one day the wife looks at me and says, I think we should do real estate. I was like, okay, that's interesting. We'll have a full-time job, and how's that going to we obviously we got 3 little girls at home, so she's I think we should do it back in Michigan. That's where I'm from. I was like, okay, we just moved here. The sun's shining. It's not dreary. It's not 32 like it is. And so we made the jump, and I actually walked away from the job that I truly loved. I walked away from it just to follow that thing because she's so passionate about ideas, and that was like, if I'm gonna bet on a horse, so that's why I'm betting all day long. It's me and her. So we did it. So the initial attention was to go here and here do real estate, see what it is, and me get a job. Well, the job market I was doing interviews, and I think God was kind of shutting doors on purpose. Now I look back on it. So I would have a couple of interviews, nothing, a couple of interviews, nothing. And while she was going to the office in real estate, she got licensed, and she was at Berkshire Hathaway. She was doing her thing there, and I would see what it would take away from her. So I'd be with the kids all the time, working, doing interviews and stuff like that. So it was just like, I'm going to get licensed, and I'm going to learn how pretty much how to do back office stuff in real estate. That's kind of how our unity was birthed, I guess.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So yeah, definitely a big career shift change there for you. On top of everything else going from.
Right. So it was like I was used to spreadsheets and systems. So now I just feel like myself, like I'm just the same type of worker, same type of person. I'm just doing it for a different set of people.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Now, how is it being on a team with the wife? How is that? Is there some challenges that present itself?
Yeah, there's some challenges. Without getting me too much in trouble, Bryce. There's some definitely challenges. So, I mean, I would say the number one challenge is there's no I'm going to say guideline. There's a line where it's okay, work is stopping. You come home from the office, you throw the keys, pet the dog, kiss the kids. Well, in our household, it's like constantly, right? It's always real estate. We're both involved. Even our kids are involved in some capacity. They're wearing Impact Agent shirts and all around like that. So, there's definitely needs to, you need to draw that line somewhere, like at 9:30, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and we're eating dinner like that, whatever, let's not talk about real estate, or let's make sure that we know. And I think a lot of times when we first got in it, we weren't sure as far as like who did what, right? So one of the things we did was, okay, well, let's do this. Okay, you're going to do this, 10 things, you're going to do these 5, I'm going to do these 5. And then a lot of times, as in real estate, it blurs, right? It's like, well, I got to do this, I got to sign a contract to this. Well, I was already talking to them, so I just texted this person. So we were kind of duplicating efforts a lot. So then we really sat down and said, okay, you're in charge of this, I'm in charge of this. Let's go. So I think that's where it kind of flourished more from there. So definitely challenges as far as like at home, constantly talking about it, maybe getting frustrated, and then just like, knowing your job, job autonomy, stuff like that, just knowing what you're supposed to be doing and to make. Because I think individually we had our mindset, we were trying to do the right thing, but it's like we weren't moving in the right direction, right? We were going separate. So,
right. Absolutely. So that'll kind of bring us into another question that we were going to get to later on, but kind of talking about that, setting the time limit, trying to, really make that break from work to home life. How do you find that that balance with your time from the responsibilities of real estate and then being a father, being the husband? How do you personally kind of do that?
It's tough. We live off our calendars, man. Like our calendar, like if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist pretty much, So it's like we just, we deliberately, schedule times out. Like if we know, like for instance, this last weekend, our oldest, our 12-year-old, she had a birthday, so we make sure that whole weekend or whatever is booked. We're going to go somewhere. Her and her friends and her sisters, we're going to go somewhere. We're going to kind of chill out, where it's like we're kind of focused on that. So we put it in the calendar, so we deliberately saying that is boxed out. But it is tough, man, because you get home. Like I said, there's really the office hours. You are in the office, right? So it's like it's constantly going. But and the kids understand. But the kids obviously have heard us on the phone. They could probably recite what we say to agents or their clients. So, but it's difficult, man. It comes with its own challenges for sure. And you want to set a good example for them. You don't want to work all the time, right? You're going to burn out. In this business, especially this business, it's like you're working 10, 12 hours. Like it's all you think about. But yeah, you just got to be deliberate. We try with our calendars, block them out, and have times. Like when the kids go to school, obviously me and Coti can do whatever we want. In the office and stuff like that. But it's challenging and it's evolving. So I'd be a fool to tell you if I had that figured out.
When you find it out, man, you should let everybody know there. So going along with the time blocking for, family and everything with that, is that what you do to make sure you have time for yourself? You're running 120 miles per hour over here with real estate, 150 miles an hour over here with the kids, Do you block off time for yourself as well? Or what does that look like?
Yeah. So I have a very, I'm very lucky. My wife is pretty good about telling me I need to go do something, or, so-and-so was talking to me, hang out with him, or did you text him yet? Or I just said something. So she keeps me honest. So I try to reciprocate that, but not as good as she does for me. So she's a pretty good social planner for me. But yeah, and actually a lot of those conversations, as Bryce, is that they end up talking about real estate. So it's almost like it's not like, I'll be whatever talking to somebody. It's like, I'm talking about the market. And I'll say, well, I'm not really, client facing, but I know what I'm talking about, but I can, I know let's go EXP or something, whatever. So again, it's tough because you think you're taking away from your family, when you're going out and, you're being selfish or whatever like that, but you do need it. Like if it's like a day, like, watch a game, grab a couple of beers or something, or like get a massage or something like that. So I have a social planner in my wife that she does that for me. Probably not a good answer for audience. No,
it's good. And, we'll kind of go along with that. Football season's kind of wrapping up. Michigan is looking good. We'll see. Got a couple more games to put on your calendar, hopefully. So definitely making sure, you take time, even if it's a couple hours here and there. But yeah, like you say, I think a lot of people kind of feel guilty when they do try to make time for themselves and go do something where you're not with the wife, you're not with the kids, and you're out with the guys, or the backcountry road, drive, something like that, just, so I think that
yeah, for sure. I mean, kids are at school, daycare, whatever. I mean, it's good too, especially with just like me and, me and her, we're talking business. It's nice, but I hear you. And I think it's important too to have, with your wife or whatever, to make sure you guys go out and do something too, not just you and her, leading separate lives. And I can say I don't do the best job of that, but something that I need to get better at, as far as like me and her just going out and just not talking real estate, even if it is real estate, just me and her, So just have that adult time, I guess.
Exactly. I don't know if you guys struggle with this, but when you do have that adult time, it's like, what do we talk about? If it's not real estate or kids, something with the school, it's
nuts.
It's kind of like dating again, starting over.
Yes.
It's like, what are you trying to find out what you guys have in common again? So
yeah, it's like a bad date. That's right.
Well, at least this one's kind of, I wouldn't say stuck with you, but she's invested a little bit at this time.
That's right.
So we'll kind of play off of that too, is, that feeling of guilt, when you do have that time for yourself. Are there any like stereotypes as far as being a father, head of household, kind of being a guy that you struggle with, personally as well?
So what comes to mind first when you say that is I'm not a handy person, like at all, man. Like it's just bad. So like my biggest thing is being a man is like, oh, you should be able to fix that. Or, hey, what did you build?
Right.
So I don't know if it's a stereotype or not, but I am not a handy person, and it drives me nuts. Even like I have friends that come over, good friends of mine, that was just, oh, what's going on? And Coti will talk to them about, hey, can you do this? I'm like, oh man, and I'm not mad at her. It's just like, man. So like that's one in my. I don't know if it's a stereotype. I'm going to answer your question or not, but that, and also like I don't have all the answers. Like I don't, like, sometimes it's like the kids, they'll ask, well, Dad, Mom, how about this? And well, I don't know, like this, in the world, I don't have all the answers, for you at this time. Even with the team, it's the same thing. So it's like I don't, just because you're a team lead, like you say, man of the household, whatever like that. Like I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to do my damnedest to, to get that and navigate, to make sure I'm a leader. So yeah, I mean, those two things, being handy, and not having the answers all the time, it's kind of big for me.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. I mean, you look at kind of our fathers and our grandfathers, and that they always working with their hands,
right,
out in the car, out, working on cars, out in the woodshed, just doing piddling everything. Every time you would go over there, I felt like they were doing something. So, if you can't find a quick fix on YouTube, my wife's calling the neighbor. It sounds like you have that too. So
it's YouTube is insane, right? I mean, you can do everything. I mean, but sometimes YouTube is not going to help you. You don't know where the rotary should. So
right. So I mean, just something as simple as that. I mean, something that some people think, guys should know how to fix that or do that or have the answer. It definitely pulls a little trigger internally with, oh man, I'm not up to where I need to be. But it's like you're saying, you're gonna find the answer. You're gonna make it work, no matter what it takes. So
heck yeah,
absolutely. So we'll kind of stick with the fatherhood and everything there. What has kind of been the most challenging thing for you as a father so far?
So you mentioned before, I'm outnumbered in my house. So they took my hair from me already. I tease, but I was bald way before I had kids. So it's trying to like with multiple multiple guys, 3 girls. So keeping them not arguing all the time. But honestly, keeping them separated from like when they say something to Coti or something like that, staying neutral and probably not laughing at things that they say to each other. But I mean, it's tough enough to navigate parenthood, man. Like they say, there's no manual. So it's like just sheltering them to a certain point where it's like protect them, but then at the same time, there's a fine line between letting them learn on their own. Like we say, everybody gets participation award nowadays. It's like, go out there, let's play basketball, let's roll the ball out, let's see who wins. And if you don't win, that's okay. Or if you're not the best person in gymnastics that day, that's okay. That happens. But yeah, I mean, just navigating emotions as far as each other. Like all three of them are totally different people, which is crazy.
Right.
All three of them.
Right. Right. Yeah. Looking at the ages, I'm not going to say the ages unless you want to, but it looks like it's getting very challenging time there. So
we're 12, 10, and 8, dude.
So definitely controlling the emotions, trying to help navigate. I'm sure is day by day getting a little bit more challenging potentially there for you.
So Coti always used to tell me, remember when they fought, this when they were little, she would say, "Listen, I gave you them, and then you chose me." so that's a guideline of who to pick from in the fight. So it sounds like I'm going to side with my wife on that. So
you've got your rank of how you want to go down the line there with everything.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome. So kind of with navigating that, looking back on your career so far in real estate, what is one thing that you wish you would have known when you started, knowing what you know now?
So I'm a little unique, or as far as I was licensed. I got licensed literally just to be like an operations manager type, where I was literally filling out I don't know how you would call it, sheets so agents would get paid, and so admins would do stuff like that. So so I started a unique thing. So I would say, honestly, to look back on it, is don't be a secret agent. That I said before, we always tell our agents that don't be a secret agent. Wherever you tell, talking to somebody, it can naturally come up in conversation. But I mean, I think if I'd have known, especially what I know now, is oh my gosh, this thing has a potential to be a huge thing, and we can help a lot of people in the community. We can get our name out there, and donations to charity and whatnot. I mean, don't be a secret, right? I mean, let's just do it. You can be we always talk about. You can be the best coach nobody ever heard of. The best player, the best 40 over softball player that nobody ever heard of. So it's like you just got you just got don't be a secret agent. I just think of James Bond. You don't want to be a James Bond agent. You want everybody, your family. You want there to be soundboards for your agent. Even though I'm not out there, necessarily, I've been out there on the grind like that. Talking to clients and stuff like that when they're in the background. But still, I mean, I can tell people about their team, what we do, and stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, don't be a secret agent for sure. But also, be nice, man, because, man, sounds simple, right? But, man, I've seen a lot of interactions with Coti and our team, other agents, from some of the stuff. It's it can come back and get you, in the rear end with some of these comments you make, or you never know. So.
Right. And that's huge. I mean, you look at everything and you think it's a huge, big world, but it's really not that big. And with social media, it's going to get back. It's coming around. So, being nice, it's unfortunate you would have to say it this day and age, but to be nice is huge.
I know. And I'm sure, I know you're in a completely different market than us, but I assume you have similar thoughts on where you're at. I mean, it's cutthroat, man. You.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So talking about being the secret agent, being nice, if that's one thing you would have known, is that the advice you would give as well, that's for somebody trying to get into real estate and kind of pursue that game plan like you guys are?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of the agents that we have one on our team right now. His name is G-John. He is killing it. But he was a part-time agent with us. And I think he saw what was happening. He couldn't do certain things. So I would say, if you're going to do it full time and go. So I know what does my wife always say? I know you probably say this too. Ignorance. What is it? Ignorance on fire, or is it over knowledge on ice, man? So
yes,
that's what it is. I would say, do it. You get licensed and you go do it. Don't work 8 to 5 and come in. You think you're going to be a real estate agent on the weekends? It's not going to work like that. You might have some success, but overall, you have to maintain success. I just don't think it's going to work that. So, put an A effort in, A+ effort, the old college try, man. Do that. Go to the wall and just see how it goes for you. Because there's a lot of. It's a good living to make. If you can do what know what you're doing, and get hooked up with the right people.
Right, and that's the thing is, especially with the way the market's been the past couple of years, is, everybody thinks they could just jump in and be a part-time agent and everything. So definitely, it's scary, but the reward is there if you're willing to take the risk to kind of jump in and go full speed ahead. So
For sure.
absolutely.
And I think too is a lot of people get caught up on where they broker their business at too. Like you go to like a Remax, a Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if you guys got those down there, but here they're major players, real estate one. I mean, people are going to do business with you because it's you. It's Bryce. It's Ty and Cody. So they're going to do business because those clients could care less. Where you're going to go. So.
Right. And that's how, I mean, you guys and Cody and Impact Agents, I mean, that's how you guys build your business, referral based and everything like that. So they're doing business with you. It's not everything else attached behind your name. It's you as the person that they're doing business with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just, it's what we bring to the table as far as being, you say we're going to do, like I said, we're in the community, we donate to charity every single closing. So like that's like, we're honorable people for the most part. And it's good. That's how to do it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So we'll completely switch gears of being a success and advice. What is like one of the biggest failures you've had since starting the real estate career? We're not going to go too far back on that, but we'll just stick with, sorry, man. We'll just stick with, kind of what you've seen in real estate. What would you say one of your biggest failures may have been?
So it's funny because I started again, but pre 2018, I don't know anything about real estate. What's funny, Bryce, is that I think at that point, total, let me go forward now. So total, I think my wife and I have been in 7 houses. So we were doing real estate. We were doing real estate transactions before I think we knew we were real estate agents. So at that point, 18, I think we had 5 houses underneath our belt. So we had known kind of what's going on. So anyways, I would say our biggest one. So 2019, we left the 18 big box to join somebody to open our own brokerage up. So I'm going to say that was probably one of the biggest successes at the time. But looking back on it, the way it let out, it ended up being a failure. And I would say the biggest failure, but it's definitely one of the things that's on our mind. And we learned a lot of stuff from that. So we opened this place. I think at the point I wasn't a broker at the time, so we needed somebody to tag along with to become a broker to have that name. So we had somebody we went in business with, and we weren't really that sure about with the details of it. Signed some contracts that we probably wish we would have looked at a little bit closer, to be honest with you. But we just say no. She was such a workhorse. I was the operations manager. She was #1 agent, and I was doing everything in the office. So, things took a turn for the worse when directions of the company went one direction. Well, he or she, they had all like the power. We were just kind of doing all the work, right? We were kind of the busy bee. So, as far as failure is concerned, we hopped in there. I think looking back on it, it obviously ended up leading us to EXP, which has been the best thing. So. It's tough. You learn a lot when you open up a brokerage like that. We didn't know what to expect. The bank account. It's a lot of stuff going on. So we need somebody. We thought we trust that person. Which in hindsight, I wish we would have kind of our own people. Maybe looked at different things. Maybe we would have stood up for ourselves a little bit more. I wish I would have maybe stopped some different things and say, we can't do this way. And just do that. But dot your I's, cross your T's, and you sign stuff. Make sure you have maybe your own person look at it like that. So, I don't think it was stuff where we got screwed. It just wasn't the most convenient relationship towards the end. So, and we split amicably, but, there's some things that happen, and now we're okay. But it's just, it could have went a lot better,
Right. And that's kind of one of the good things, kind of where you are now is, even though you're the operations and everything, you still have that kind of second, third layer back behind you to kind of help out with that as well.
Right. Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So how we're structured right now is, so we obviously with the community that you're a part of, we have, like you said before, we have 30 plus agents. We have an immediate team. Me and Cody lead a team of two agents. And then we have an operations extraordinaire. Her name's Katie. She does all like the Canvas stuff and all that good jazz. So she's pretty much turned into my and Cody's right hand person. So yeah, it's
awesome.
Like you said before, I take those experiences I learned in 2019, 18, going into 19, and I'm taking that, and I'm not going to make those same mistakes. When somebody comes in and they want to do business with us, I'm going to make sure their interest is covered, as well as ours.
Absolutely. So, you guys have been super productive, growing that team and everything, and kind of touched on the Impact Agents, got it there on the hat. I don't have my T-shirt because I am a part of you guys as well. But, you kind of touched on, giving back to the community, you guys being referral based. So
Yeah.
kind of just, is there anything else you want to kind of elaborate or talk about that the viewers might think is pretty cool about the Impact Agents?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're a small team. We have a few. We have I'd probably say over half of our communities in Michigan. We have some obviously in South Carolina. We have people in Georgia, New York. But yeah, so what the idea was is to impact the community, through real estate. So when I say that, it means just you're putting on events to get the community together, and obviously we're going to share our name. And obviously we have a lot of people that see that and meet us and like us, and actually our cheerleaders, like some of our biggest cheerleaders in the community, have never done a transaction with us. They just know us. Like it goes back and forth. It doesn't matter where you're at for a brokerage. If that person knows what he or she's doing, that person is more likely, that client more likely to follow that person. So, but yeah, so what we do is that every single transaction we do, we try to donate to a local charity of the client's choice. The client has something on their heart about, adopt a pet, or maybe like some like we have a couple of cancer centers here, stuff like that. Local charities, that impact a local. That's kind of our thing. It's got to be in there, because we live here. We love it. So it's pretty cool, man. It's actually an idea that when I told you before we were in Georgia, that Coti had said, listen, we should go to real estate. This is actually her idea when she first started back in 2018. So she had this idea on her mind for a while, and I kept hearing about it and seeing that. She had a big check. The big
yes.
Says we're going to do the closing, we're going to do that, we'll go to the charities, and it's like, what is this? Like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't I take this check? So it was pretty cool to evolve. But I mean, it's not just a check, right? It's like, if you don't have a new agent, we get it. New agent has it. It's like, well, geez, I'm not in a position to give that commission away yet. Well, serve. We're going to serve in the community. We're going to serve at the church, whatever like that. We're going to go out there. Like we have an event this weekend. We have pancakes with Santa. I believe Santa is flipping pancakes at some school. We're gonna go see. So yeah, man. So I mean, just get out there. Stuff that like I told Cody. I think in general, real estate agents are pretty generous, but I think that people don't know that too. Because it's like people also see this as something greedy with the percentages and stuff like that. But I get it. So we're all right?
Absolutely. So kind of talking about giving back and everything there. What is there one or two people kind of in your life that have been the most influential kind of with how you do things, how you run household job, and that could be, as a real estate business or just in life in general?
Sure. Well, number one, real estate is Coti. I'm not saying that because she's got a gun in my head or nothing. But I mean,
we're live.
That's right. Remember, I chose her. All right.
Yes.
So, I mean, just as far as she led us to this, 100%. When I saw the vision, and saw what it took, and I was like, this is huge. And she can do it herself, but I mean, to have me there, this turned into a whole nother train. So it was pretty cool. So I would say she's number one influential in real estate for me, 100%. I mean, I just, we're just starting this Impact Agents University that she's launching this thing, and it's like, man, I mean, I can just see she is a life coach. Although she talks, she really pours into people, and it rubs off. Two, honestly, man, I grew up playing baseball. We just in general, I think playing sports helped me to be about the team. Obviously, I'm a big Michigan fan. Our God here is Bo Schembechler, the team. So we think of that. Growing up, it's like high school coach is like not too high, not too low, keep in the middle. I know that probably drives Coti kind of crazy sometimes. I'm not very high, but that's how it is. That's kind of how I maintain it, right? Maintain that, up and down, even keel. Obviously, you're going to have highs and lows, but I mean, just to maintain that, put things in perspective. So he was pretty influential, high school baseball coach. But again, just playing sports all the time, growing through college and stuff like that, just different, and just learning how to deal with people, right? You get to school, you get to college, it's like you do whole different personalities. They mesh, and it's like, man, what is it? You're young, you're just trying to learn how to talk to people. So I've taken that, and I'm like, man, that's how I learned it. And just getting into like I was saying, automotive at an early age. Learn how to deal with suppliers, vendors. Yelling at somebody for not shipping parts. It's like you try to reach a common goal, just like agents or get that closing tape.
Right. Absolutely. So is there anything in all your spare time of that you have, is there anything that you've read recently or even listened to recently, that's inspired you, or is it just kind of the day-to-day activities with family kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, the day to day. I mean, what do they say? The days seem long, and like the weeks and the months seem short. So
Right.
it's crazy. But I don't do as much. I listen to podcasts. I probably listen to podcasts I should be listening to. But as far as books, I did read recently. Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Yeah.
which is makes you think about things. Right? It's an old book, but it's like I never read it before. Never been exposed to it before. And actually, we were on one of these. I think we're on a weekly meeting, and somebody had brought that up, so I immediately looked at. So I'll read that. And it was pretty cool. And then you're you are a badass. I think it's by Jen Sincero. I love that those books like this big, right? It's like I don't know, a couple hundred pages, but I mean, it's just like motivation. She's a female author, but it speaks to everybody. I think it's just like confidence,
Awesome.
right? I mean, a lot of times, kind of go back to don't be a secret agent and have confidence in yourself. And I myself, I think I say I don't think myself handy. Certain things, I get down on myself pretty easy. So it's nice to read that and say, you are doing good. Sometimes you
Right.
just gotta, and people do a pretty good job of telling me that. But it's like one thing is somebody telling me admitting it that hey, I'm doing a good job. You know how it is. Real estate, it's like you do 30 transactions. Okay, well, no, where's my award? Like who's telling me that?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Awesome. Well, is there anything else? I know we've kind of covered a pretty good bit. I feel like, are there any other like nuggets or anything that you've got in there, either real estate related or about being a dad that you'd like to share with everybody? Or
I do. I was thinking of one thing though, because I don't know who said it, but it says there's a quote that says, "Be careful because the guy that's shining your shoes today might be signing your check tomorrow." That I always stuck with me. I don't know who the heck said that, man. I think it was an actor, but man, that stuck with me. So that's just something that I kind of live. I try to do the same way. I don't care if you're an agent or a client or you make one transaction a year or 20 transactions a year, but. It's just fun. You gotta have fun with this. Sometimes we get busy with the kids and stuff. It's like, man, what are these kids doing this to me? I'm so nice and I buy them everything they want. It's like we just gotta take time and take time and enjoy the small things because man, they're gonna be gone. Life is way too short. So again, I'm saying this as I need to take my own advice.
Yeah.
So can't see the trees through the forest. That's kind of what it is. Where it's like need to take time. Sit down and chat with the kids one on one if you got multiple kids, whatever. Boys, girls, it doesn't matter. So just enjoy it. I mean, even though tough times, they won't last.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And have you we kind of touched on it earlier, but have you seen that shift as far as, as they've gotten older, do you think that's kind of gotten a little bit easier or is it just different challenges kind of take the place as they get older?
It's funny you ask because when we were younger, and I would always tell Coti, I said, man, I can't wait till they grow up. I'm going to take them over here. We're going to do this. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, like they were so small. Like I had everything. And now we got three beautiful girls. And it's like, man, now I want to go somewhere. It's like, well, they have their own social lives right now.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's like, man, more issues. Like you said, there's different challenges, right? It's like now we're at, I got one that's in middle school. I don't know how that happened. She's in elementary. So it's its own challenges, but it's scary, man. Because the world today is any day. It's rough out there, man. It's especially for kids. They have different challenges than we had, right, growing up.
Absolutely, and not to take anything from that, but I heard something recently. Not trying to push faith or religion on anybody or anything like that, but I heard somebody say something the other day is not feeling sorry for your kids about what's going on in the world. Because God put them here when they're supposed to be here to be able to take those challenges. So easier said than done as a dad and everything else. But
well, that goes along with taking time and understanding what's going on, like appreciating things. Like because obviously we're here for a reason. We're the family, the dynamic. They're put on this planet for a good reason. So I totally agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so to kind of wrap up, if you've gotten everything off there,
Yeah.
Where I know you're not on Instagram yet. We're going to work on that. We're going to get you there. But where can listeners kind of find you guys online?
So yeah, so I am I'm probably the worst on social media, but my wife is not. She's probably the complete opposite of me. So you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Ty Brown, TY, and the color brown. And then I wrote this down. So we have a Impact Agents real estate team. You can follow us on Facebook, Impact Agents Real Estate Team, and also my also Coti just is starting this university where she's like training agents, for like very very low fees. And it's not just agents, actually. It's probably just more people outside of real estate, too. That's going to be Impact Agents University. That's on Facebook. And actually, she's on Instagram, too, under Coti Brown Realtor. So, yeah, man, you're right. You got to get me on Instagram. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Actually, I wrote that down like 2 weeks ago, man. I haven't done it yet. See that?
Man, put that on your 2023 vision board there. We'll get you doing some reels. If I can do it, not hurt myself, you can do it. And, we need to see you out there and everything. But we will definitely tag you guys when we go live and everything and have that so people can access you. So
Awesome.
Once again, man, I thank you for taking your time and dropping some knowledge and kind of sharing your stories. So hopefully will impact somebody out there as well. So appreciate it, Ty. Thank you, man.
Love it, man. Anytime, man. Anytime. I'd love to be back on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
All right, brother.